must be truly desperate to come to me for help.
You should know that when you betray me, I will kill you.
When do we start?
Alright, Thor 2, Thor the Dark World. Did this also come out in 2013?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. So I think it came out in November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, we enjoyed the first Thor. We thought the first Thor was pretty good. It left us wanting, to know more about Asgard, explore that world more. We thought, Chris Hemsworth was good as Thor. We thought, Loki was good. Tom Hiddleston. Just overall, we thought it was a solid film, and we, at first we thought Asgard, how they're going to translate it to film, we thought, it could never work, but they found a way to make it work, and it ended up being enjoyable. So the second film, we're expecting, just as good, hopefully better. We explore more of Asgard, learn more about that. We don't spend as much time on Earth, because the overall world of Thor, there's so much to explore, and the second film has an opportunity to get dive more into that. So I noticed that when it comes to the MCU films, a lot of people hold this under bad regards. A lot of people don't like this film. I watched it recently, getting ready for this podcast, and to this day, I still don't understand what the hate is for this film. Now, don't get me wrong, this movie is not great to me, but it's okay. I think this movie's okay. The movie has issues for sure. There's some pacing issues. The villain wasn't great. The stuff on Earth, and just the overall, storyline with the Dark World left stuff to be desired. And there is some dim-witted plot points and plot holes in this film. But overall, I don't hate this film. I think it's fine. I don't understand why people think this film is so unwatchable, but we'll get into details later, because wait till you hear what Doc has to say about this film. Dr. Nick, what do you think about Thor the Dark World?
I don't like this movie.
Yeah, we're just gonna let you rant.
Yeah, we'll let you have your piece.
To rant, but I don't like this movie. I applaud you, Dwayne, for trying to beat me and trying to find the light side of this, but no, there is no light to this. There is only darkness and anger and sadness. It is, to me, the most boring movie of the MCU. Literally, the only thing that truly has any relevance is that it is the stepping stone of one of the Infinity Stones, and that's it. Anything else, you could be like, what does that happen? No, like nothing. And while we did see some more of Asgard, which is always great, most of it is just bland. The human characters they cranked it up, and they're worse. Literally, this movie made me hate Kat Dennings. Made me actually hate her, and I don't really hate a lot of things. It was just, they ramped up that, they ruined Slave, they ruined Eric, whatever.
Oh yeah, Eric
Selvig.
Yeah.
Selvig, we see him running naked in Stonehenge. That's like one of the first shots we see of him, and he's in a mental institution. And it's just, and not only that, the villain. Let's talk about the villain. The villain was the most boring villain in the entire MCU, or even the entire Phase 2. Say what you say about Killian. At least Killian had a motive, had a reason, and he looked like a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Malekith was boring. Literally, he was just one of those villains, just like, I'm just going to stand in the background while I let my henchmen do it. Even Christopher Eccleston, who played Malekith, doesn't like him. He literally doesn't like his experience with Thor the Dark World.
I have a fun fact of my own. I'll let you continue. He turned down a special in Doctor Who to do this film.
He turned down the 50th anniversary for the longest running television show to be in Thor the Dark World, which as a Whovian brings my piss to a boil.
Me too. I'll be honest. Yeah.
I mean, Kerr his right-hand guy, the big bull element,
Yep.
that was more of a threat than him. But yes, I don't like this movie. You can continue. I don't want to sit out here and simmer in my rage, but you can talk about this movie.
Okay.
Sorry, that's the actor that plays Killer Croc, I believe.
Oh yeah.
It was!
Killer
Yeah.
Croc.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez.
Well, you learn something every day.
You do. Okay, Captain Eagle, what did you think about Thor: The Dark World?
I'm pretty much on the same page with you, D-Wizzle. I like this movie. I guess I probably enjoyed it more the first time in theaters, just off of hype.
Me too.
Because watching it again recently, yeah, it wasn't as good, but I still like it. I don't understand the hate. This movie is pretty good. Yeah, the villain was really bland. Killian just pissed me off too much, so I guess I will put this guy, a little above him. But yeah, he didn't really have too much to do. I did enjoy seeing Asgard more. I thought the Dark World, concept and seeing them fight the Dark Elves was cool, but I know we'll probably talk about this more, but the Dark World itself was kind of bland. There wasn't much to it.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's talk about let's get into Malekith because we keep bringing him up. Malekith is a piece of bread.
No, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Bread could literally speak Shakespeare, and it would be better than Malekith.
But yeah, I now, surprisingly enough, I don't think that Aldrich Killian is the worst villain in the MCU. We will get to that when we get later on into the phases. But I can agree to an extent that at least Aldrich had more charisma, had more of a motivation, and had more of an intimidating presence than Malekith. Malekith is just bleh. Bleh. Now, I don't even care for Malekith in the comic books either, but he had more of a presence in the comic books than this film. Yeah, and the cursed one in this movie is more of an intimidating presence. His henchman!
Yeah.
His henchman was more interesting than the actual villain itself. Wow. Does he even hold a candle to the Frost Giants?
Not even close.
Yeah. Because at least the Frost Giants are imposing.
Yeah.
Dude, I think Aldrich is like the same height as Natalie Portman.
I think.
Maybe a couple inches taller. Because freaking Thor and Loki towers over Malekith.
Oh, actually, let's look up. You can talk.
Yeah, I'll continue talking. You look it up.
How tall Christopher Eccleston is.
Yeah, and it's even though Christopher Eccleston, isn't he tall though? Because I think he's pretty tall. Maybe it's just because when I see him in Doctor Who, he looks tall. But yeah, it's just that was kind of weird to me. Let's jump to the human stuff real quick. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't think they could make the human stuff worse than the first film, but it is. Natalie Portman, Jay Foster, is pretty much the same as she was in the first film, so she's literally bread.
She's fine. I think I don't know.
I said the same thing. I didn't say she was worse. I just said she's the same as she was in the first film.
I'm saying I feel like she gets a little too much crap. I mean, she's fine.
Yeah, Christopher Eccleston is 6 foot.
What? You could have fooled me.
Christopher Eccleston is 6 foot. 6 foot. And Chris Hemsworth is 6'3".
Dang. Okay, only 3 inches of difference.
And Tom Hiddleston is 6'2".
Only 2 to 3 inches of difference, but it looks like they're both towering over him.
Yeah, that's what. You know what that's called? That's called bad shot. Filming badly.
Yeah.
If you make one person. I know. Speaking of directing, guess who's actually going to direct this movie?
Ooh.
Patty Jenkins, aka Wonder Woman. She was actually going to direct this, but she dropped out.
Oh my
Yes.
god!
Who's the director of this movie again?
The director for Thor: The Dark World
In Game of
is-
Thrones.
Huh?
He's a Game of Thrones
It
director.
is
Oh.
Alan Taylor.
Alan Taylor.
Oh yeah. What else has he done?
Alan Taylor has done Game of Thrones, Thor: The Dark World, The Emperor's New Clothes, Terminator Genesis, The Playboy Club for NBC, Boardwalk Empire, Nurse Jackie, 1% Mad Men, a lot of TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot of TV shows.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense because I'll get into the directing after I talk about this human crap. Like I said, so Jay Foster was fine, but once again, didn't really add anything to the film, and I'm still wondering why is she with Thor? Why is she with Thor? I'm questioning it even more because Sif plays more of a role in this film, and every time we cut the Sif, I'm like, you're the one.
I love Sif.
I love Sif.
And the Warriors 3 were good, too.
Yeah, I love the Warriors 3 in this film, too.
I like all their back and forth with Thor and everything, yeah.
So much
They were
more
cool.
interesting. They're so cool. And then we cut to the stupid human stuff. Kat Dennings. What the actual hell was that? She went from being the annoying best friend to horrible sitcom comic relief.
Well, hey, she's doing that now, so she's gotten worse.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ. Like every scene she was in, it was played up for laughs and played up for humor. I was cringing every time she was on screen.
It was more like, it wasn't even that. It was more like, huh? Like The Office looking at the camera like, huh? See what I'm doing? I'm the funny one. I'm gonna be here for the whole movie. Bye.
Alright, I will defend her a little bit.
Oh, good luck.
Because, like, sometimes her humor didn't work, and sometimes it did. I don't know. I did find her, somewhat entertaining.
When did it work for you?
I can't remember an exact thing.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, yeah, because like I legit want to know what scenes people. Well, I remember because when I watched this in the theater, people were laughing every time Kat Dennings did something, and I'm just like, no, it's not funny. Stop laughing. Yeah, because I really want to know what worked with Kat Dennings because I don't think anything worked. Like, I'm glad she didn't show up in the third film. Oh my god! But then we cut to Eric Selvig. What did they do to him?
Yeah, they made him crazy. Yeah, I didn't like that.
So the mind control from the Avengers, like, I guess that kind of messed with his head still, and this making him psychotic where he doesn't want to wear clothes or wear pants, and he's figuring out this stupid quantum theory connecting to infinity stones or cosmic entities or da. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, yeah, I didn't care for him in the first film, but I took him seriously. He was an actual, he wasn't playing it out for laughs, and he was actually wearing clothes. And even if you wanted to utilize the whole, the mind control from Loki is messing with his head, which is pointless because why didn't anyone else get affected from the mind control? Why isn't Hawkeye all messed up? Plot hole. But yeah, but even that would how does that even work? How does it even work? We don't even know how that stuff can just affect the brain somehow. After just now, it wants to be affected by it a year later, or I guess he was fucked up before the events of this film happened. But like I said, still they wait a year later to be like, oh yeah, the mind control from the spear affected his mind, even though it don't affect anyone else. Stupid. So yeah, that was pointless. Now he plays more of a factor towards the end. He actually has some smart things to say towards the end. Actually, some stuff that's useful or helpful. But I'd rather not see Stellan Skarsgård in his underwear. That's an image I didn't want to see. So let's get to the actual plot of this film because
There's a plot in this movie.
surprisingly enough, there's a plot. It's a dumb plot, but it's a plot. So we're treated with kind of the similar intro to the first film, where Odin gives this backstory of one of the wars he had with the Dark Elves, and they're fighting over this powerful object called the Ether. Spoiler: it's an Infinity Stone. but the ether is some sort of red, like, liquid, whatever it is, and it holds incredible power, I guess. And so, make a long story short, Odin and Asgard won against the Dark Elves, and they stuck in the middle, in the vacuum of space. And apparently the ether is connected to Malekith, and so the Asgards try to hide it underground somewhere where no one can find it, and so that Malekith won't be able to wake from his coma in the middle of space. Okay.
Yeah, that stuff didn't really make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
With him, like,
yeah.
So
I guess it's clear to me that people are horrible at hiding powerful objects of power in this universe, because you have Captain America, the first Avenger, they're doing a bad job hiding the Tesseract, and now this film, they do a horrible job hiding the ether, because freaking Jane Foster just stumbles across it from a portal in England, and apparently the ether connects to her. Great job, guys! Is that really how you're hiding powerful objects?
they do a good job of hiding vibranium.
Yeah,
Wakanda.
because it's Wakanda. Wakanda actually is smart.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So she just stumbles across it because there's some weird, like, supernatural portals in England that they find, and she just falls into one, and then that portal coincidentally is this portal that leads them to where the ether is hiding. She finds the ether and it connects to her, and then that sets off a signal from Malekith in a different part of the galaxy, and he awakens and he's after the ether, and that somehow, and then Heimdall from the first film senses that the ether has been awakened by Jade, and so Thor comes to her rescue, and then brings her to Asgard to figure out how to get the ether out of her, and then eventually they have to stop the Dark Elves. Okay, so one of the things I loved about the first film was the cinematography and how Asgard overall looked. It had a certain style that was unique to the other Marvel films. It just looked like something out of a painting. Now, I'm not saying that Asgard doesn't look good now, because it still looked good. Asgard is still a beautiful place. But what made it look so good is how it was filmed and how it was edited. Kenneth brought a specific style that was really good to it. Now, getting to the technical aspects of the film. So, ever since Disney acquired Marvel, before that, Paramount was using actual physical film to film the movies, and that helps give a sense of grain and, you know, and kind of a cinematic touch to the film where it looks like it was something epic, right? So Disney, from this point forward, decided to use digital cameras to film the movies, and I felt that really hurt, because the film, like Doc said, it feels stagnant, it feels bland, it feels like something out of a TV show. That's how the films looked to me. It didn't have that epic scope and cinematography that the first film did. And I feel a part of it was because they decided to use digital cameras. But not only that, not only the digital camera aspect, but this director, who's the director?
Alan Taylor.
Like, I'm expecting some epic, you know, shots from this guy because he directed Game of Thrones. But no, this feels like a TV episode. The way things are shot, the action sequences, they all feel very stagnant and bland. And it's really sad because it's Asgard. Everything should look pretty much beautiful, but no, it doesn't feel like the same world.
I think the costuming was cool though. Like, I don't know, like specifically with like the flashback battle, or with like the battle near the beginning. I don't know, like I just...
The costumes I think were still good.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. So that kind of like reminded me a bit of Game of Thrones. It's got like a, you know, like a special look to it.
Wendy Partridge did the costume design, and she has done Pompeii, The original Hellboy from '04.
Oh yeah.
Resident Evil, Highlander 2, Highlander, Dave, Knuckleball, the Van Helsing on Sci-Fi, Timeless on NBC, Silent Hill, Revelation 3D, Hell on Wheels, Conan the Barbarian from 2011, Legion. But yeah, she's done stuff.
So yeah, definitely the costume I think is the only thing consistent aesthetically from the first film. Everything else doesn't feel as grand as it did in the first movie, which is I felt was disappointing. And it feels like I'm just bagging on this film a lot, but no, there is still some really good things in this movie. Now, while I say that the cinematography felt more bland than it did in the first movie, I'll say the action sequences are still fun to watch. Like the overall when the Dark Elves are invading Asgard, that was a cool scene. It reminded me something out of Star Wars with the spaceships blasting everything. That was a cool scene.
I didn't really mind the visuals in this movie.
Yeah, it's like this.
For me, it didn't seem bland.
I say it because I notice these type of things because I study film. And so a regular moviegoer probably wouldn't notice the stuff that I'm noticing, but for me, I really appreciated how the movie was shot in the first film, and you can see for some people that really appreciate how the first film was shot, you can see a difference with this film. But yeah, like I said, the action sequences are still fun to watch. There's a freaking badass scene where Heimdall senses a dark elf ship sneaking past it, and it's invisible, but he knows it's there, and he freaking climbs on top of the ship and stabs him with the sword, and it just crashes down. That was awesome. That was a cool scene. And then I talked about in the first film that Thor's mother didn't really play a factor in this film, but she actually does. She helps with the dynamic with Loki and Thor. I really liked the relationship that she had with Loki, even though it was broken. But yeah, she was really good, and she had this cool confrontation with Malekith because she was like whipping his ass for a second until Malekith stabs her and kills her. Oh, that was sad. Even though I wish we had more time with her before she died. But yeah, that was a cool scene there. The overall fight at the end, which we'll get to later, I thought was entertaining. When Loki and Thor are like trying to escape from Asgard too, that was entertaining also, the banter between the two. That's one thing that's also really consistent with the other films, is the relationship with Thor and Loki, I think saves a good portion of this film. Because you can feel that their relationship keeps building and building with every film. And just the overall dynamic between the two is like the best thing about this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was still really good in this.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you see Loki, dealing with the ramifications of him turning to evil and like his mother trying to turn him back. That was some nice things. I haven't talked about Odin yet. I really liked Odin in the first film. Yeah, he was serious and stern, but you can tell that he cared a lot about his sons, regardless of what they've done. Odin's kind of a dick in this film. This does not feel like the same Odin. This Odin, like when he was this is not the same Odin in the first film that tried to consult with Loki and try to help him feel accepted. No, this Odin is like, screw you. It's like you're evil. It's like you deserve everything that happened to you. I don't care about you anymore. You'll be locked in the dungeon for the rest of your days. What?
He's a crabby old guy. He's sick of his shit.
I guess so, but it's just like I just need a little bit more compassion, and it's just like It's kind of hard for me to ask that because Odin has always been a douche in the comic books. So it's like I was kind of taken back that he was even as compassionate as he was in the first film. So I guess like now it's just like he's just not taking a shit anymore, which is fine. But it just felt like a sour taste in my mouth, especially because the mother kept trying. So I don't know. And then he freaking yells at Thor because the roles are reversed. Because in the first movie, all Thor wanted to do was fight. But Odin's like, no, we don't need to fight. We don't need to fight. But now in this film, Thor's like, if we just fight, we're not going to solve anything. But Odin's like, no, we will fight! And we will fight till everyone fight to our dying breath. I'm like, what? This is not the same Odin. Like, this is not the same wise and, like, you know, just experienced one. This is, like, come on. Like, I know they want to do like a nice role reversal there, but it just wasn't consistent to me. And then, once again, I know that technically humans are not allowed on Asgard, but it's like he was just giving no fucks to Jay Foster at all. Just like having a human in Asgard is like having a billy goat at a dinner table. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, man, Odin, you are savage. Jesus Christ. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
Yeah, that did stick out to me when we watched it again recently. I was like, shit.
But yeah, so the subtitle of this film is The Dark World. And I was interested to see, how is the Dark World play in this film? It's literally just a desert. Mm-hmm. It's a dark desert, and that's it. That was very underwhelming to me. Why do you even call this movie The Dark World? You could have called this movie Thor: Rise of the Dark Elves. We could have had that, even though it was a Korean title, but it fits better than just The Dark World, because The Dark World was pretty much just another place for them to fight.
Mm-hmm. I liked the color palette for it, but I feel like they should have added some stuff to it so it wasn't so barren.
Yeah, throw some red lightning in the sky, have it like be like storming or something, have like lava shoot out of the ground or something, just like a little bit more aesthetically, pleasing, so we understand why the movie's called The Dark World. And just like, it's kind of funny because the movie's called The Dark World, but this is like the lightest film in the trilogy.
Yeah, it's ironic, ain't it?
Yeah,
there is.
What is seen as the darkest movie is most lighthearted, and what's seen as the most lighthearted one in the future is pretty dark.
Yeah, Thor: The Dark World. I mean, Thor: Ragnarok is more like intense and like gripping than this film. It's just like, yeah, I don't understand why this is called The Dark World.
Yeah, there's a bit too much misplaced humor.
Mm-hmm. And then physics is getting messed with too, because I know this scene was funny and I laughed the first time I saw this in the theater, but how is Thor able to hang his hammer up on a hanger? That doesn't make any sense.
That was actually improv.
I could tell.
That was improv by Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm. Like, literally, we know that the hammer just will fall to the ground. But that's a nitpick thing, I guess. But it still doesn't make sense. But it's funny, whatever.
Well, I didn't mind the whole physics shifting thing because, with like the Dark World and the Earth, kind of like with the portals, because I thought it was cool when they were like fighting and they just kept popping between worlds.
Oh yeah,
like that stuff was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the portal fight at the end. That was entertaining. Yeah, just how they're going through different dimensions and stuff like that. That was a very creative way to do a fight scene. Mm-hmm. It's funny though. I keep forgetting what happens in that final fight. I know it happened, but I keep forgetting what exactly happened. Yeah, it's just the movie overall is not that memorable compared to the other two, other than the stuff with Thor and Loki. That was really good, and stuff with the mother, but everything else I'm just like, you can take it or leave it, really. And I think it's because the villain was so bland you keep forgetting about the stakes. There was also this funny scene with Loki when they're trying to escape from Asgard and he freaking shape shifts into Captain America. That was funny. It's like, oh man, this outfit's so tight, but I feel the righteousness. Like, oh my god, that was funny to me. Interesting enough, even though I keep harping on the love triangles in these films, I actually was interested to see what they would do with the Jane Foster, Sif, and Thor love triangle, because they they allude to it a tiny bit. Like Sif's giving Jade an ugly look, and it's like, oh, they're gonna touch this. Are they gonna have a scene together where it's like Thor does not you're not worthy of Thor dealing with a mortal. It's like I actually wanted to see that. I wanted Sif to tell Jade off, but that doesn't happen. Or she doesn't even tell Thor, why are you with this human? It's like you can do so much better. I actually wanted her to do that. There's nothing I really asked for, but it's like Jade is just really not doing it for me, and we clearly see who's the better alpha female in this equation. And once again, they get less screen time than the humans, along with the Warriors 3. They get more to do in this film, but still have less screen time than the humans.
Yeah, I would have liked more screen time with them.
I can even take a solo film with those guys because they're that entertaining to me. So it's just, yeah, it's just not that great. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to mention?
I have gotten all my things out.
Got all your things out? Look at you.
I don't know. I thought it was like cool to an extent. Yeah, because there's like it was kind of forgettable. I mean, I thought the ether thing was cool, kind of. But it didn't really do much, did it?
No, it didn't really do much.
I mean, it was cool looking, I guess. But yeah, it didn't really do anything like the Tesseract did.
Right. Does anyone remember what gem that was on the continent? It is. We'll look it up and we'll let you know.
I'm doing it right now.
But yeah. What was the post credit scenes in this movie?
The Collector.
The Collector, because they were giving the ether to the Collector, right? Mm-hmm. Was there something else?
Yeah, and then the end credit scene was just Thor going back to Earth.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
yep, it is reality.
Is the reality one?
Reality
okay, so the ether is the reality gem. So
what's the Tesseract?
Tesseract is space.
Space. Okay.
Space Stone is Tesseract. Reality Stone is the ether, and Power Stone will be getting to soon.
All right, cool. So I'll get back to that. The mid-credit scene where Sif takes the ether to the Collector. I didn't like the Collector in that post-credit scene. He was just kind of weird to me. Wasn't doing it for me. I have different opinions when we get to Guardians, but when I saw him in that credit scene, I'm like, oh, this is the Collector?
Better than his performance in The Last Jedi.
But yeah, so it wasn't really much to say about it. So yeah, that's where the ether is, and then that was a nice little thing at the end. Thor comes back to give a happy ending kiss to Jade. Oh, that's so sweet. And then, wait, wasn't there a monster that teleported in the real world?
Yeah, that very much is, yeah.
Yeah, I remember because there was a monster running like in the end credit scene. Maybe there was a monster when Malekith and Thor were fighting and they had the portals that accidentally got into the real world, because I remember that specifically. But yeah, so that was a nice little thing at the end, I guess. So yeah, I think that's our overall thoughts on Thor: The Dark World. Like I said, I don't hate this film like everyone else does. I think it's fine. It's alright. I don't think it's the worst, but overall, this is not as good as the first film, and it left some stuff to be desired for sure. So overall, I give Thor: The Dark World a C+. Captain Eagle.
Yeah. I mean, I think this movie's pretty good. Yeah, I agree with you guys. You know that there is some downfalls with it. I give it a B-.
Dr. Nick.
It does not get a grade. It failed the class. It does not get a grade. It failed the class, and it does not get its degree. It does not get its degree from general studies. That is my rating.
Doctor won't even give a grade to this film because it failed that hard.
So it's an F.
Yes, technically F, but it does not get a grade because it failed the class.
I'm just gonna put it doesn't get a grade. It's funny. He's like, you don't even deserve a grade.
You failed your general studies class.
That's what we should have did with Iron Man 3. You don't even get a grade. You failed your general studies. You
Yeah, basically.
got expelled. Yeah. All right. So that's our thoughts on Thor: The Dark World.